This is exciting. We're going through a sculpture trail. We're on the outskirts of Clitheroe now. And I guess that must be the first sculpture. And it's kind of made out of brick, I think. Yeah, I'm sure that's brick. Good morning. This is a bit of a recap, but I'm now on day 3. Day 1 and 2 I managed to walk 30 miles and now I need to walk another 45. Today I'm heading over towards Settle. Might not actually get there because I think it probably might be a little bit too far, but I'll see how I get on. But I need to do really a minimum of 15 miles today. So anything to 15 and beyond I'll be very happy with. So as you can see, got the Ribble behind me. So less talking, let's get walking. So here's an interesting sign, and it's not the private fishing. It's a note to all dogs. Basically, have your owners on a lead. Apparently donated by the Rotary Club in memory of Dr. Cyril Royal, aged 101. So do what the doctor tells you. I am wondering what these are. As you can see, there's quite a few of them. And I've already gone past quite a few cages of them. Yeah, so if you know why we have cages of rocks, I'm very interested to know. Of course, you've always got to be careful walking near the edge of the river, because you don't know how much of it sticks out. Like that bit there. You can imagine if you stood on that, I think you would end up in the river. I do like the fact that this signpost here has been done in the same style as the estate. Probably the best quality one I've seen for the Ribble Way. I've seen some interesting things parked in a farmyard, and that's got to be one of the best. It says footway closed. And then it's directing you to the A59, which is not where I want to be. There's the farm in the distance that I was diverted away from, all the way to here onto the A59, which I'm not too happy about, it being a major road. The only advantage I've got is that it is a Sunday, so it should be less busy. Certainly doesn't sound that way at the moment, but then I can walk along in that direction and then I can cut back over that way. So hopefully I'll be okay. At last, we're back on track. So I'm not convinced that was an official diversion, but nonetheless the farmer had some very strong signs out warning about going ahead. It was a bit of a faff, and but walking along the A road wasn't too bad. There was plenty of grass at the side to walk along, so, and I didn't have to walk far before I saw an official public footpath sign, which I followed, but then the stiles and things of that nature ran out because the farmer had kind of just normally fenced over, but they were easy enough to get over. So, funny thing is, I kind of enjoy a challenge like that. I mean, it wasn't such a big diversion, but it was good to use the navigation skills. Yeah, it was alright. Right, talking of navigation, I best just check where I'm going. This is interesting, it's like someone's decking. It looks like a nice little woods. In fact, I bet it's very nice in summer. It's starting to rain now. We meet the Ribble again. Loving the house over there, and even better is this over here. Oh my, enjoying the Pennine Bridleway. So we're passing through the Gisburne estate at the moment, or it's known as Gisburne Park, and kind of further over that way in what would be, I think, southerly direction is Gisburne village. And Gisburne, of course, you remember from your Robin Hood days. So Gayle Gisburne, he came from round here apparently. And yeah, the great thing now is we're following the Pennine Bridleway. And if you've not done the Bridleway, you should. I was surprised how good it was. And the great thing is, because that's a national trail, I'm starting to see the signs for it, so it makes life a little bit easier. I'm just standing near one at the moment. There you go. And yeah, I'll share the link for the Pennine Bridleway. And this was it last time, the fairy lights. Strangely, because it's dark and grey, it actually looks even better with the fairy lights now. So this is where I'm making a decision. Kind of that way, over the fields, is the Ribble Way. But I know from kind of driving this way a few days back that it's actually quite flooded down that way. And so I thought, follow the Pennine Bridleway into Long Preston. Yeah, there's the sign for the Ribble Way. Not too bad there, but it would be quite hard going. It's kind of like that further down.
Ambling trials.
Indeed. Wow.
This you as you walk past, look.
Yeah. Well, and what a great dog.
My name's Nelly.
Nelly. Hello, Nelly. And who's yourself then?
My name's Jules.
Hi. How you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Great.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Well,
As
it's
you went past.
yeah, amazing that you recognise me in such a short time. And I'm just going to turn this off. Morning folks, it's taken me quite a while to find a shelter spot so I could talk to you. I left Cecil quite a few hours ago and went over to Stainforth, so you saw the waterfall there, and then I've had to walk quite a way. I think it's probably a couple of kilometres away from the Ribble, and it takes you quite high up, and then we're on our way down now. Eventually we get to Horton-in-Ribblesdale before we head out back onto the fells, but then we're getting quite close to the source. I'm not sure how far I'm going to get today because there's a lot more fell walking and conditions underfoot are pretty boggy to say the least. Right, need to concentrate on where I'm going now. This is one of the last times we will be seeing the River Ribble as it is. We'll begin to call it something else next time we cross it. So we're in Horton-in-Ribblesdale now, and stations in that direction. In fact, I can see the overhead bridge. And then round this corner is the car park that many people use to do the Yorkshire Three Peaks. Yeah, we're actually going to go across the little bridge there and by the side of the crown up into the fells. So we're following the Pennine way now. Well, we know where that water's going. So I've been just looking at the route on the app, and it follows the Pennine way that way. But on the OS map, it takes you in that direction. I've just been debating, did they just miss this turning? Or did they do it purposely? But they go quite high on this, and I can see that this is a good track, so it's tempting. However, later on they did cut across country. So I think I'm going to go the official route. And I think it's a good reminder of don't believe everything you see. Just because it's in the app doesn't mean that it's correct. Because as we all know, navigation can go wrong. Yeah, and there's reassurance for me that I am going the right way. Over the wall and to the right of this barn. Now this sign here, so it does actually say RW. From a distance it does look like PW, but we're nowhere near the Pennine way, so clearly the Ribble Way. And yeah, when you get to here, because you know the path actually goes up that way, so you see that in the distance. But you look down there and it's blinking steep, but I think it's trying to point you to this rather than I can see either sheep or people have gone that way. Well, I did wonder at first, I was starting to worry I'd have to go back, but there's a gap in the wall there, and that is a lot better, because then if we go there, sort of maintaining our height, to go round to where the trees are rather than down into there, because that's very steep and that would be quite slippy getting up there now. So yeah, thank you to the person who painted the big stone with RW, because this is a lot safer. But the problem you've got is on the OS map, it does show it going straight across, so you can go on that bridge, and from this angle it doesn't look too bad, but it is very steep, and getting up the other side would be very slippy in this weather. So yeah, come round, it's a lot easier, and you're doing what Wainwright tells us to do, which is don't lose ground, don't lose height. Once you've attained it, try and do everything you can to keep it. Down there is the route I've just come, and we're kind of going higher now. But what is interesting is this is the official way of the Ribble Way, and like I say, if it had followed the app, it went along the Pennine way. On this way, actually, in terms of beauty, it's been the best bit, and so I'm so glad I made that decision. Kind of had this sort of Limestone Ridge way I've been following all the way, and capturing all the scenery over there. It's a shame the weather is what it is. So this is Lingill Beck, one of the major contributors to the Ribble. This part of the route is definitely challenging. There is definitely lots of mud. And the funny thing is, I've seen this footpath on the map in the past. I thought, well, it cuts across, maybe I should go that way. And then when I check the OS map, I kind of go, it'd be too boggy if I went that way. And that's in summer. So I'm glad I haven't chosen it in the past. So in the distance you can see Ribblehead, just about. And we're going in that direction. So just there you can see a Ribble sign, not the shepherd's cottage. So we're heading in this direction, and it's kind of like a big circuit because it goes round and it goes over the road that's here. This road goes to Ribblehead, and it'll be the way I'm coming back. Think about getting to the source of the River Ribble on the Ribble Way. So of course it leaves you in the middle of nowhere when you finish, and then you have to find your way back, of course. We're on the Dales Way now, and when I did the Dales Way, I can remember just well camping over there, being protected from these trees, and it was pretty flat too. And it's still a bit early to pick a wild camp now. Probably still got an hour or so. And there seems to be a lot of sheep around this time. Really feeling it now. Done a lot of walking where it's been over the fells and it's like really pulling the boots off. This is Jan Site, which we're going to follow all along where it becomes the source. I've just got water from here because it's a lot easier. You can see we just come across the ford. So that there is the source of the River Ribble. And there's some over there somewhere, which I'm not going to. The map actually claims it's up here, but I'm not as confident, but I will stop where it says it is. So the map says the source is here, Gayle Gate, or Gayle Gap. I beg to differ. I think it is where I showed you. It's kind of down over there. Anyhow, that's the finish of the Ribble Way. I now need somewhere to camp for the night, or decide what I'm going to do. Right, onward. I left you last night having completed the Ribble Way, and about 2,000 feet high in the moors there, and the wind and the rain was horrendous, so much so that when I was finally in my tent doing a bit of wild camping, all my electrical equipment wouldn't work because of water ingress. So I've had to wait until this morning before everything has dried out. And as you've seen, I'm alongside Ribblehead Viaduct, and in fact this bit here, these kind of arches, it's the only bit of sheltered space I could find to be out of the wind. Having got to Ribblehead, I'm now going to head over to the station and get my way home. But for now, I'd like to say thanks for watching, and if you can, please do subscribe, thumbs up for the ducks, and hopefully one day I'll see you on the trails. Bye folks.